Playing jungle in League of Legends is easily the most demanding role in the game by far. I mean, being a jungle main is basically like getting married, having kids, and then going through a very difficult divorce. Because in both of these instances, you're cursed to spend the rest of your life babysitting, getting yelled at, and of course, being taxed. But if that wasn't bad enough, the people over at Riot HQ like to change the jungle more than their character art, and because of it, jungle mains are in a constant stream of panic, hoping to God that the next patch doesn't send them back to Heroes of the Storm. I actually managed to sneak some footage of the Riot Balance team working on champions, and just take a look at this. Okay, so who's next on the agenda?
Shaco, sir.
Okay, so Shaco is getting buffed by making his W hit multiple targets? Also, here's an ad. We're all gamers here, okay? And I'm not even gonna pretend like you haven't heard about the hit RPG Raid Shadow Legends. But did you know that it's Raid Shadow Legends' second year anniversary? That's right, it's been 2 years since Raid burst onto the scene and took over the entire gaming sphere. And since then, it's only gotten bigger and better. And for good reason. I mean, who doesn't love crafting a unique party to conquer dungeons and bosses alike? Jumping into PvP battles with rivals across the world and summoning unique champions at the tavern. Speaking of summoning, did I mention that they just dropped 12 champions in the brand new Shadowkin faction? Which include Jintaro, Yoshi the Drunkard, and of course Chonaru, also known as my wife. Raid wants to celebrate its 2-year anniversary, and what better way than having 6 straight weeks of anniversary events and tournaments? And my favorite part is that they're launching their first ever clan versus clan tournament, so clans can battle and see who comes out on top. Raid's huge already, and their anniversary event means there is no better time to join than right now. So don't wait around. For the next 30 days, new players can get a huge head start. All you have to do is click the link in my description or scan my QR code, and you'll get the free Epic Champion Jotun, who's great for the Doom Tower, 100k silver, 50 gems, and 3 ancient shards so that you can summon unique champions once you start the game. Be sure to click here to access all of your goodies, and I will see you on the battlefield. One more huge shout out to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring the content again and again. You guys are awesome. Download Raid with my link in the description, and I'll see you soon. The reason why jungle is such an open role is because technically speaking, any character can be a jungler, some just clear faster than others. Removing the idea of being harassed, poked, or 1v1'd out of lane just makes junglers more variant in nature, because you're basically only limited by your imagination, and oh my god, never mind, Udyr took both of your buffs, you're getting reported, and now you're banned. Should've stuck to the meta. Saying that clearing the jungle fast is important in the current meta is the understatement of the year. Almost every top tier jungler is able to dominate the meta because they follow the jungling golden rule. Clear fast and gank ass. Put that on a shirt. But then, in the sea of rioters sitting around looking for the next monster to craft into our beloved Summoner's Rift, one brave soul stood up and said something that will curse our game forever. How about we make a jungler that can clear faster? A jungler with only AoE abilities. A jungler with 4 legs and a Scottish accent. And thus, Lillia was born. Lillia is every jungler's dream, and I'm not just saying that because Dream Dust is literally her passive. She is a fast-clearing, fast-moving monster with insane teamfight potential and the ability to tilt the enemy team right off the face of the earth. There is nothing more tilting than an enemy Lillia coming at you at Mach 10, hitting you once, stealing half of your health bar, and then leaving so fast that you start to wonder if it was a dream in the first place. And oftentimes, it is. Lillia's passive makes all of her abilities apply Dream Dust, dealing 5% of the target's max HP as magic damage over the course of 3 seconds. Yes, that is percentage max health damage. So as long as you're fighting this speed demon, it doesn't matter how tanky you are. She will whittle you away and then say sorry right after.
Sorry.
On top of that, she also builds a Liandry's and a Demonic Embrace, meaning there are now 3 things in her kit dealing percentage max health damage. damage. And since Liandry's and Demonic Embrace refresh on her Dream Dust, if Lillia lands one ability on you, that means you're gonna be burning to death for the next 7 seconds. At this point, you have to question why Riot made her a deer in the first place. They could have just made her a literal arson. Her Q is an AoE cleave around her body that deals a decent amount of magic damage. Near the outer edge, enemies take double damage, with half of it being true damage instead of magic damage. Basically, if you pull up a chart, this area right here is the no-no zone. On top of this ability having a 4-second cooldown, only costing 45 mana, and allowing her to clear faster than 99% of the other junglers in the game, it also has a passive that is just as good.
I'm going in!
Passively, Lillia grants a stack of Prance for 5 seconds whenever she hits at least one enemy with her abilities, stacking up to 5 times with the duration refreshing from subsequent abilities hit. Stacks are lost by 1 every second when the duration ends, and each stack grants Lillia up to 11% plus 1% per 100 AP bonus move speed, meaning at 5 stacks, Lillia is going to be in and out before you can even auto-attack her. And then back in, and then back out, back in, back out, in, out, and you're dead. When the United States of America got insecure and decided to prove how much power they had, they invented the mother of all bombs, also known as the Moab, which at the time was the most powerful non-nuke weapon on Earth. Russia, seeing this and taking it as a challenge, decided to do one of the most petty things in global history and created the father of all bombs, aka the FOAB, and actually field tested it in 2007. And though the FOAB was at the top of the list and uncontested for over a decade, in July of 2020, Riot invented Lillia's W. Lillia dashes to 150 units in front of the target and deals magic damage in the area around the target spot. Enemies hit within the center are dealt 200% increased damage, dealing up to 390 base damage and 90% of her AP. It's pretty easy to dodge, but if Lillia ganks you, pray to God you don't get CC'd by anyone, because if they hold you in place, you're getting straight up mugged for all that you're worth. We'll be talking about this ability again soon. But before we do, did you know that the majority of the people watching this video aren't subscribed to the channel? We put a lot of effort to the content in this channel, and I think that you would have fun subscribing, so please do. And also ring the little bell thingy so you don't miss any of our banger videos. Anyways, let's keep going.
Nice throw!
Lillia's E throws a swirl seed in a target direction that rolls until it hits terrain or an enemy, dealing magic damage in a cone and slowing for up to 45%. Since it's also an AoE ability, it makes her clear time faster. It's also worth knowing that this is the only CC in her entire base kit, which initially sounds bad until you find out about her ultimate. This ability is actually hilarious and allows her to take picks from far away like a peeping Tom. It also applies her 7 seconds of burning death, so be careful because this will deal a lot more damage than you think it will. But though all of her abilities are pretty strong, they're okay. Her ult is what ties her together. The ability that makes her go from Rudolph with a club to an actual nightmare. Lillia's ult causes every single enemy with Dream Dust applied to get drowsy for 1.5 seconds, and then they fall asleep. Yeah, brother, who cares that you're in a fight to the death with a literal war demon? Now's the perfect time to catch a breather. Champions woken up take a decent amount of base damage, and the duration of the sleep ends up being 3 entire seconds late game. I mean, sure, it's slowing them for 1.5 seconds before they get to bed, but her being able to make every single enemy champion fall asleep for 3 seconds is insane. Since all of her abilities apply her Dream Dust passive, oftentimes her E becomes a rolling ball of death, and you should treat it with the respect that it deserves. Because if you get hit by this and you're out of position, chances are you're going to fall asleep, and then be woken up by the biggest bonk in history. Now you understand why I said we'll bring up the W again. Waking enemies up from the sleep doesn't do a lot of damage, and it scales pretty bad, but its effectiveness is game-changing when used correctly. Unfortunately though, using this ability correctly isn't on Lillia at all. In fact, here's where we get to Lillia's most glaring flaw. A flaw so drastic that it makes this character borderline not fun to play. And somehow this flaw isn't in the ability itself. Playing as Lillia is basically rolling the dice on whether or not your team has more than a single-digit IQ. Obviously, if Lillia puts someone to sleep, you're supposed to wait until your team is in position for the next 3 seconds and then wake up the enemy at the last possible instance to cause damage while maximizing the CC effectively. Unfortunately though, that will almost never happen. For some reason, the second any of your solo queue allies see Lillia sleep, they will do everything in their power to make sure that your team doesn't win. Maybe it's because they didn't read the ability, maybe it's because they don't understand what positioning is, or maybe it's because this ultimate puts a big fat sign over the enemy's head that says, "Come on, baby boy, what are you doing? Hit me." But 9 times out of 10, using this ability is going to make you a very sad deer. Lillia is a very powerful jungler with a simple enough playstyle to make her enticing for anyone who wants to move as fast as an SSC to a tar. She has map pressure, she has CC, she has damage and mobility, and if you use her at 100% efficiency, you might still lose, because Lillia oftentimes doesn't have what she needs the most: a team with a pulse. In short, Lillia can be a dream or a nightmare depending on the situation at hand, and I do think that she's well worth the learning curve. So if you're looking for a new jungler to learn, I suggest you treat Lillia like Bambi's mom and give her a shot. Nah, that's kind of mean. Honestly, that's a little... fuck it. Thank you guys for watching this week's episode of Can We Talk About This. If there's something else you guys want to talk about, leave it in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to get to it. Also, this video was decided by a Twitter poll, so if you want to vote on who the next episode of Can We Talk About This is, go to the description and click on the Twitter link, and then follow me on Twitter so that you can vote next time. I think that's all I have to say. Now click the videos that are on the screen so that you may have fun. There's some bangers on the screen. Go on, click them. Click them. They're bangers. They're bangers. I promise you, they're bangers. Go over there. Check them out. You'll have fun. Okay, goodbye.